we're going to be looking at the This Week in Destiny that was just uploaded today on Thursday the 4th of April. So we're going to be recapping the live stream, the Final Shape developer gameplay preview, which is on April 9th, and a bunch of other stuff that we'll get to as things go. So we have the recap. We know that Whisper and 0 Hour are coming to the game with a craftable Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak perfected. We'll get Whisper from Eris, and we'll get 0 Hour from Ada. We have the PvP maps that were shown off, however, I'm not going to be looking at those. We have the recustomization for characters, which is a feature we've been requesting for the past 9 to 10 years. Finally, it's here, but it did take long enough to get here. And we're also getting another name change, so if you change your name to something that you don't really like and you want to change it again, say you change your name to like Riven of 1,000 Voices and now you want to be Nezarec Final God of Pain, you can do that. You just have to go onto Bungie.net and go through there. There's little information on Pantheon, but it starts on April 30th. They are updating New Light, so you can skip essentially all of the New Light campaign, which is good because Shohan just yaps for like the entire thing, and it's a really slow start, and it doesn't really explain much. So if you have friends that you want to play with, it's just much easier to skip that tutorial experience and just move straight into actual gameplay. Big news is that we have the Final Shape showcase on April 9th, 30 minutes before Into the Light will drop, so make sure you tune in on Twitch specifically, as you can link your Bungie account and get this emblem, which is extremely clean and extremely lovely. To get this emblem, you have to watch 15 minutes of the 30-minute showcase, and this showcase will also give you progress towards the other 2 emblems that were run during the Into the Light live streams 1, 2, and 3, which are Those Who Held Dear, which is this green and white emblem, and Echo Diamond, which is this black and red emblem. However, this Tigris Fatty emblem is probably one of the better emblems we've got from Twitch drops in a while, so make sure your Bungie.net and your Twitch are linked accordingly to make sure you can get this drop. Moving on, we have the PvP update, but we're going to just skip over that. We're looking at the Into the Light weapon balance update, as this changes a bunch of different things. So the first thing we're talking about are heavy grenade launchers, which have an increase of damage by impact damage by 40%, reduces disorientating grenade radii by 15%. That's interesting. That's like an ad clear thing. I don't really know if many people use heavy grenade launchers for ad clear in the first place, especially for blinding. It is an interesting use, I just don't see it being that good. The increased impact damage I don't think will be that good, especially when we have bait and switch grenade launchers in the game. Moving on to bows, lightweight bows are a little hurt in PvP. So lightweight bow base damage hasn't been increased by 6%. Okay, moving on, we have 450 RPM auto rifles have had a reduced base damage by 5%. This won't do much, their autos are still pretty good. Precision and adaptive hand cannons needing a small tweak. So precision hand cannons can 2 crit, 2 body low resilience guardians, and get 3 crits with damage boost. They've increased base damage by 6% on hand cannons, okay. So that's mostly a PvP change. Okay, so this is all PvP. Well, correcting a rounding issue that was causing precision shotguns to require 1 extra pellet to kill. Okay, so that's Guardian and PvP as well. Whisper of the Worm is getting a reserve buff. So is 1k from 7 to 11, and Whisper is going from 18 to 24. Quicksilver is getting a small buff to where you get your rockets faster, but they have less AoE damage. And then Forerunner is getting a damage buff, and Last Word is also getting a damage buff. Now we're going to be talking about the new perks. So Recluse and its Master of Arms perk is now a 15% damage buff while you have it procced. Luna's Howl is basically getting the Hawk Moon treatment. Mountaintop is getting a change to its frame, where it does now less damage to you, and it gives you a higher rocket jump. And it's returned its damage to be competitive with other grenade launchers, other heavy grenade launchers. And it's got a slightly increased reload speed. So Mountaintop now, based on the numbers we saw during the Into the Light showcase, it looks to be 25% more than Wilderflight, which is just an insane change. Using if you get a Mountaintop and Into the Light with auto-loading holster, the gun is just going to do a lot of damage. Permeability was giving Slammer to get struck on Strand. That's been changed. That's good. Crucible only changes we don't really care about. Strand Fragments finally cost 100, not 200. I don't know why they cost so much in the first place. New Light. Okay, what? How? Oh, skip New Light. Oh, perfect. So you can now take Shorhan's ship to the tower instead of taking your own. So you can skip at any time, and you get these options to continue or skip the tutorial. Alright, to help bridge the power gap between new Guardians, players will now be able to head to the tower and choose the kit handpicked from Ikora. So now you get to pick between Void, Solar, and Arc, all the light subclasses. Each new light kit contains 2 weapons, 1 exotic, 4 rare armor pieces, so 4 blue armor pieces and a purple class item, and you get aspects and fragments. And you will also get a quest that gives you an exotic piece of armor. To celebrate, here are the wallpapers. So if you want these wallpapers, just head on to the TWID and you can download them. They are changing default chat, so you now auto-join by default instead of otherwise, where you didn't have to default to be in chat. Right now, Iron Banner's in the game. Everybody's farming for Tusk of the Boar and Multi-Mark SMG, which has a god roll with a range of 0. So take that as you will. Talking about Legend Onslaught now. Let's have a look. Starting on April 9th, the first 3 fire teams to complete all 50 waves on Legend will receive a 7-inch mini replica helmet per fire team member. So there'll be a race to complete Legend Onslaught as quick as possible. So grab your fire team and your builds and take them in. Make sure you bring your champions, because there will be champions in there. And in the next TWID there will be rules. And that is everything in the TWAB. Moving down into the player support, they know about the gilding issue. The last right is showing the same visual as the Prophet, so if you died to the Prophet and it said the last right, then it was just a bug. And that is the TWID this week. So to recap, Legend Onslaught, the first 3 fire teams to complete Legend Onslaught will get a miniaturized Shaxx helmet. You can now skip the New Light experience by just going to the tower, interacting with this flag. And the other major change is that breach loaded grenade launchers are getting an impact damage by 40% in PvP, it looks like. Oh, and they apply to both PvP and PvE, so another increase impact damage by 40%? Oh, so breach loaded grenade launchers are specials? But impact damage going up by 40% is still very good. Yeah, so I think this is special grenade launchers that are being changed, not heavies. So, special grenade launchers all getting a buff by 15% is pretty good. And a nerf on blinding grenades. Okay. And then the final thing is to make sure you link your Twitch and Bungie to get this emblem when the final shape showcase comes around.